Most people, when they think about what could go wrong at a wedding, imagine logistical disasters. A venue that floods, a cake that collapses, a speech that goes too long. They don't usually imagine their own mother and sister deciding, the week before, that the bride simply isn't worth the effort of pretending to be supportive. Tonight's story is about a wedding, a small one, less than 30 people, and the family who couldn't manage to show up for even one day. This is her story. In her own words, it started with dogs. She brought her own dog to the wedding as ring bearer, a personal, sentimental choice, but asked guests not to bring their own pets. She offered dog sitters. Her father-in-law offered to pay for them. Her sister and mother took this personally. Her sister said she'd sorted it, then got drunk a few months before the wedding and told her directly, "If the dog sitter cancels, he's coming with me, and you can't do anything about it." 1 week before the wedding, the dog sitter canceled. She held the line. Her sister stopped speaking to her entirely. The week before her wedding, her mother and sister wouldn't speak to her at all. She had to chase them just to find out if they were attending. They were supposed to help set up the venue the night before. She heard nothing. Her in-laws and 2 friends came to help instead. Her parents turned up at the end and were upset she hadn't waited for them, despite never telling her they were coming. The night before the wedding, her mother texted her at 10 p.m. to say how disappointed she was, that it should have been her and her sister spending the night with her. She told her mother she wasn't doing this now, that she hadn't spoken to her all week, and texting at 10 p.m. the night before the wedding was unfair. She asked them to arrive at 10 for getting ready. The ceremony started at 1. Her father was driving her. They turned up after 12. The first thing her sister said to her on her wedding morning was, "Go get your dress on and let's get this over with." She'd asked her mother to wear purple. She arrived in blue and black. Her sister dressed her niece as a flower girl, with a matching dress to her own, a flower crown, a parasol, the full display, despite being told there were no flower girls. Nobody had been asked. Nobody had cleared it. Her niece just appeared, costumed, ready. At the evening reception, 40 guests, intimate, her mother refused to move from her seat and became upset that the bride wasn't spending enough time with her or introducing her to everyone. She stormed out before the cake was cut. Her sister, her sister's children, and her father all left with her. No goodbye to anyone, just gone. While the guests watched, she mentioned the pity from everyone who saw it. That might have been the worst part. And then there's the dress. She'd found one she loved, 800 pounds. She told her mother she couldn't afford it. Her mother insisted, told her not to worry, she had her purse. She suggested a veil, another 200 pounds. "You only get married once, don't worry." Then she walked her daughter to the till, did the paperwork, picked up the bag with the dress, said, "You just need to pay," and walked off. She was left standing at the counter, unable to back out without humiliating herself in front of the saleswoman, and paid 1,000 pounds she didn't have. When she asked her mother about it afterward, her mother denied ever offering to pay. Said she couldn't have afforded it, but would have loved to have offered. She is still paying off that debt. What she keeps coming back to is that they don't see it. They don't understand why she's hurt. They don't believe they did anything wrong. And whenever she thinks about her wedding, she can't help but think about how small she felt. Let me start with the dress, because I think the dress tells you everything you need to know about the shape of this family. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't a misunderstanding. That was a woman who wanted the experience of being a generous mother, who got to stand in a bridal shop and make her daughter's face light up, without the cost of actually being one. She picked up the bag. She handed her daughter a bill. And when confronted, she rewrote the memory entirely. She got to feel generous. Her daughter got the debt. That is the pattern this story runs on. Her mother and sister wanted the experience of being important to the wedding without doing any of the work of actually showing up. They wanted to be at the center without contributing to it. And when they didn't get that centrality, when the bride set a boundary or arrived at the venue without waiting for people who hadn't confirmed they were coming, they withdrew, went silent for a week before her wedding, and then arrived after 12 and said, "Let's get this over with." What strikes me most is the flower girl. Her sister dressed her own child in a full flower girl costume, matching dress, flower crown, parasol, to a wedding where she'd been told there were no flower girls. That's a statement. A visible, photographic, permanent statement that her sister's vision of this day mattered more than the bride's. Every picture from that wedding now includes a child in a costume that was never meant to be there. There's no taking that back. The storming out before the cake, in front of 40 people who watched, who felt the pity she mentioned, was one final act of making the day about them. If I can't be at the center, I'll make sure everyone knows I left. The top comment went straight to the dress and didn't soften it. What her mother did at that till wasn't a misunderstanding, it was calculated. She created a situation where her daughter couldn't back out, then walked away with the bag and denied the whole thing afterward. And this one cut through everything else. The most painful part isn't what they did. It's that they genuinely don't see it. People who don't see it never will. The apology that makes sense of all of this isn't coming. She just has to decide what she wants the relationship to look like from here. Here's where Wren lands on this one. She keeps saying she doesn't feel she's being fair to her husband, that she's thrilled she married him, but devastated by everything around it. Those two things can both be true at the same time. Holding both of them doesn't diminish either one. What her family gave her that day was grief wearing a wedding dress. And grief takes as long as it takes, even when the thing you're grieving happened on a day that was supposed to be happy. She wanted Mr. and Mrs. signs in the window. She wanted to feel like the day belonged to her. Those are not big asks. They are the smallest possible version of what a bride deserves from her own family. Some things don't get forgotten. They just get carried differently over time, until the joy of what actually happened that day starts to take up more space than the people who couldn't show up for her. Some people will never understand what they cost you. They'll just wonder why you're still upset. More whispers are coming. Follow Wren so you never miss one. I'll see you in the shadows.